When you retire, you may get a chance to go to football heaven. This is football heaven.
Hey guys, welcome to The Mission. I'm your host, Jameer Howardson, and as always, we have a great show for you today as the Pro Football Hall of Fame is gearing up for the Black College Football Hall of Fame Classic this coming weekend, September 3rd through the 5th at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, where you're going to get a chance to see Grambling State take on Tennessee State, the Battle of the Tigers. Today, we're honored to have Charles Davis, color analyst of the NFL Network, who's going to be on the call alongside Andrew Siciliano and Steve Wyche. It's going to go down. It's happening right here in Canton, Ohio. But before we jump into today's show, let's take a look at all the action that's happening right here in Canton, Ohio this weekend. Come out and experience one of the most cultural events in Canton, Ohio on Labor Day weekend, the Black College Football Hall of Fame Classic. Don't miss the opportunity to serve the community, enjoy great food, live music, dancing, battle of the bands, and amazing football game. Visit ProFootballHOF.com for all your ticket information. Hey guys, welcome back to The Mission. And as promised, I am now joined by Mr. Davis, Charles Davis, who is going to be on the call alongside Andrew Siciliano and Steve Wyche, the NFL Network, when it's the Battle of the Tigers. Grambling State takes on Tennessee State right here at the most inspiring place on earth, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Tom Benson Stadium. It's going down, Charles, this coming weekend. I mean, you know, you look at Labor Day weekend, the classics, Black College Hall of Fame. You've been a part of the inductions. What's it going to mean for you and your team once again to come back to Canton, Ohio?
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on. This is an absolute honor for me to spend this time with you. And I really appreciate you, spending the time and helping educate me as we go along. But for all of us, you know how they say you're never supposed to speak for anyone else. Well, I'm going to speak for all of us because I don't think they would mind it at all. The word honor that I used with you applies here. It's an honor to call an HBCU game. It's an honor to call a classic, and to do it at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, to do it at its home, it's beyond that. You know, we have an affiliation there, obviously, with what we do as broadcasters working for the NFL Network. So that ties into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Andrew Siciliano, who will be calling play-by-play, and myself did a lot of years of arena football. And the man who runs the Pro Football Hall of Fame, David Baker, is the former commissioner of the Arena Football League. So there's a natural tie-in there. But the biggest tie-in for me is with my family. My father was a quarterback at an HBCU back in the day called Bluefield State in West Virginia, which later dropped football and integrated in the 1970s. And just this fall, to bring it full circle, I just informed my dad a couple of days ago because I don't think he knew. Just this fall, they're bringing football back to Bluefield State College. So it's a big deal, in terms of that. It's not the same as it was before when he was there playing for the Big Blues. But at the same time, football back on that campus, I'm hoping it'll spark a revival of them finding out what their history was, who played there. I mean, my dad's picture go up somewhere, but for me, honor is a big word because to do this game, I feel like I'm honoring him for what he did as a ball player and as a student athlete.
That's amazing. And you've been a part of the induction ceremonies Juneteenth in Atlanta, Georgia at the College Hall of Fame. And the meaning, the magnitude of having it there and seeing these great heroes of the game being honored and their legacy being preserved here in Canton, Ohio. Just the whole entire ceremony process, as you mentioned, the great heroes of the games and the shoulders, such as your dad, that we all stand on in this game. But, when you look at the landscape and as you prepare, do you feel like a different sense of pride, if you will? And like I said, I know you're a professional. I know you prepare for every game, one game at a time, and you do your due diligence. But when it comes to the Black College Hall of Fame, and when it comes to these classics and these HBCUs, is there a different preparation for you?
I love the way that you phrased that and posited it, because you're exactly right. There's a little bit different preparation. And what I mean by that is it's not in the X's and the O's and getting numbers and all that. I'm going to do the same thing, whether it's, the Super Bowl or a Pop Warner game. That's how I've been able to make it in this business. But you're right about remembering who played these games. Okay. Because it wasn't that long ago on the timeline of life that these classics were the biggest game in the country, that a lot of people may not have even known, that more talent was on the field between two teams in some of these classics than there was across the rest of the country, or so it felt. That, these players were going to go into pro football or what have you. Now, if it was nowadays and we still had it the same way, we would be talking about a ton of players from HBCUs being drafted. But with integration, with the advent of TV, how ball moved, it wasn't quite the same. Remember, before, we couldn't go anywhere else. We had to go there, but it was cool because we were doing our own thing and everything was working out really well. So yeah, there's a little bit of that makes sure that history gets revived a little bit, that history is known, that just because people don't see these teams play on national TV on a regular basis, at one time, let it be known that these were two of the blue blood programs in America. Talk about Tennessee State and Grambling. Okay. People talk, oh, it's black college football. No, they were two of the blue bloods, royalty, and they would have lined up and whooped a whole lot of what anywhere else in the country. Yeah. Is it like that now? No, it's not. But that doesn't mean these kids out there playing don't still carry that same mantle and don't deserve the same respect.
That's right. Those are two teams right there, the legacy that produced and has more, I would say, more Pro Football Hall of Famers and NFL players in the league,
Yeah, you put that all together and you think about who led these programs. We're talking about giants, Eddie Robinson at Grambling and Big John Merritt at Tennessee State, assisted by Joe Gillum Sr. And then you just start running off the number of players. I won't do that because that'll just kill our show, but that's what it was about. Those two giants led the head of it, with great support systems from their universities, from their athletic directors, from their presidents, from the alumni, from the board of trustees, the people who had the pride in that school and allowed that to happen. And then those kids who came through and kept elevating the name and making sure that there was respect put with it.
I would be remiss if I didn't give props and promote the fact that we had Ricky Clemens on our show about 3 weeks ago. And I see your smile and you know all about Mr. Clemens, one of the trailblazers.
It doesn't get any better than that. It does not get any better than
that. Inbounds. If you really just want a book, everybody, and you're listening and you're watching this, Inbounds is a phenomenal piece of work that just chronicles all of the HBCU players that have went on to play in the NFL, and it highlights our great Hall of Famers who are Black college football Hall of Famers as well. But the work is just it's a historical book. It's American history. It's a piece.
It absolutely is. I love the way that you said that. That is American history. We want to always put things in certain boxes and different labels and all that. No, I mean we're American.
That's right.
American history. It should be the exact same thing. And I'm glad that you titled it that way. But yeah, you want to get educated, you want to learn, you want to get better, get that book. And anytime you spend any time with Ricky Clemens, you're going to walk away more knowledgeable.
Eddie George is coming back to Ohio, the Buckeye himself as the head coach at Tennessee State. When you hear names of Eddie George, Dion Sanders, and they're stepping into this new role of being head coaches at HBCUs, what are your thoughts?
I'm really excited. Number one, I'm excited that these gentlemen want to continue to, we use the term give back so often that sometimes it comes off trite, and I don't want it to come off that way. But I love the fact that they see bigger service from themselves than maybe others did, or maybe they even thought themselves along the way. I'm not sure that Eddie was on a career track to be a head football coach, but the call came. And the thought process began, and the passion was not awakened, but it was unleashed. It was probably in there already. And here he is with a chance to make a difference in the lives of these young student athletes, of all the people that are going to touch him, a chance to help continue to elevate Tennessee State with its profile. Dr. Mickey Allen, the athletic director who hired him, he's a Tennessee volunteer such as I am. So he knew what he was doing going after Eddie because of who Eddie is, a man of character, a man of integrity, a man of knowledge, a man of absolute compassion, empathy, but also, you know, put a foot in your behind when you need to. And that's what some people need sometimes. I needed one along the way multiple times. And I was fortunate enough I had people who gave it to me. But the big thing for Eddie, I think, is, yes, winning ball games, but doing it the way that he wants to do it, doing it with honor, with character. And also these kids walking away having life skills, not just football skills. And they're going to get that with Eddie George. I'm really excited about it. And you mentioned him and Dion. My prediction is that they are the forefront of what I call the celebrity hire. And the celebrity hire in Black college football, I think, will continue. I think there are a number of people who want to be coaches, want to be head coaches, maybe not getting the opportunities they want elsewhere. Black college football, that's a great possibility, a great spot. I know Southern, there was talk about Marshall Faulk possibly going to Southern. Wow. I think we'll see a number of people like that. But remember this, at the end of the day, these men have to want to do this. And these two absolutely do. Dion's been coaching for a long time, just didn't have that title, but he did that along the way. And now look at how quickly things jump for Jackson State. Forget the record. Right. We were talking Jackson State across the country.
Yes, we were.
They weren't supposed to have televised games this spring. They ended up with like 3 or 4 because of Dion and the profile. And it's only going to continue to get better. And I think Eddie will help bring the same thing to Tennessee State.
You know, from talking to Ricky Clemens, he spoke of the competitiveness within HBCU football. And I have to ask you this because, you know, you have that extra incentive, if you will. Players are going to play on the field and they want a battle, and coaches are going to see, you know, who out coaches who. But do you think Coach Hobbs, looking across the field and seeing Eddie George, I'm not losing to you. This is what I do. You're a rookie on this all-star field here. You know, do you feel like it's that sense that extra incentives that, like, we're going against Dion today. All right. We're going to, you know, this is Jackson State versus Grambling or whatever, but like, there's Deion Sanders over there. I cannot lose to him because I've been coaching longer than him. Do you feel like from that head coach perspective, there's that competitiveness?
I think it'd be disingenuous to say otherwise. I think that has to be a part of who these people are because they're competitors too. Mm-hmm. And they also understand a couple of things. Number one, yeah, I've been doing this. Okay, you're coming into my profession. Let's see how this goes, et cetera. But they also understand that these celebrity coaches, as I like to term them, and I hope it's not taken the wrong way, I say it with respect. These are coaches who bring extra attention, extra value, extra eyeballs to the HBCUs. They are doing a great service by being these head coaches because we're going to naturally talk about, and people who wouldn't naturally follow HBCUs might go, whoa, what's Eddie George is coaching? Let me see what his team is doing. Deion Sanders coach, let me see what his team is doing. I think that the benefits are just huge. But for those coaches going against them, oh yeah, they want to show that they've got a stick too. The other part is if you go up against these coaches and beat them, now there's attention on your score. Oh, you beat Dion's team. You beat such a. It goes in recruiting. It goes in fundraising. It goes in name recognition. It goes in value. All those things are a part of it. But yeah, at its core, we all compete. Look, Coach Broderick Fobbs played at Grambling. Father played at Grambling. This is not, new territory for him. And coming off of the season that they had in the spring, their efforts are going to be quadrupled when they get ready for Eddie George and his team.
How proud of you were of Mr. David Baker, our CEO president, to take in and to work in conjunction with James Shaq Harris and Doug Williams to bring the Black College Football Hall of Fame, not only classic, but the artifacts and their legacy to preserve here in these halls?
Proud, obviously, but I'm not surprised. If you spend any time around David Baker, you quickly get that this is a man. Now, for people who've never met Commissioner, I keep calling him Commissioner because that's how I knew him in the AFL, but anybody who's never met David Baker, when they see him in person for the first time,
his presence is a present.
Jaws do hit the ground. I mean, that is a big, big, big man with a big, big, big heart and a big, big, big intellect and capacity for getting things done. And when he thinks there's something that should be done and it's the right thing to do, whoosh, off he goes. But when you first run into him, it blows people away, doesn't it? Isn't it funny when you see people's eyes like, because for people who don't know, Commissioner Baker's 6'8", probably pushing 400 pounds, a big man. And it's not 400 pounds where it's just the slot. I'm talking about a big, ginormous, physical, strong man. And his son, Sam, was a starting offensive tackle for the Atlanta Falcons for a number of years, a first-round draft pick. When Sam was at USC and I was calling college games, I would go out. I remember coming after a game, coming off of the elevator, and I ran into Commissioner Baker, and he was wearing Sam's game jersey, no pads, and it barely got on him. I was like, I knew this is a big man, but it's a man who gets things done, a lot of things done. The Hall of Fame has benefited. Arena football was never better than when he was the commissioner. When it's time to get something done, he's one of the first names I think of. And again, I'm not surprised because he knows the need, he knows the value, and he has the respect for the game and the people. And that's why the artifacts ended up there.
Man, I can't wait to see this all-star team, yourself, Andrew, and Steve here in Canton, Ohio, Labor Day weekend. It's going to be a blast. But before I let you go, we spoke of your dad. And I always like to, and for yourself, a dual threat quarterback. You played basketball, baseball, football in high school. You went on to Tennessee, and you made your transition from the football field, the gridiron, to the booth. And I'm such a huge fan, and I'm so honored to have this. But I want to talk to you about the life lessons that you've learned along the way from your dad. My dad wasn't a head coach. My dad played baseball, but he's an operator's engineer. And I know the values that he instilled in me, and I carry them every day. I wear it loud and proud. But for yourself, what were some of those life lessons that you learned from your dad, who was a coach,
Yeah. But, as you pointed out, look, it really doesn't matter what the title, right? Coach, operations engineer, architect, lawyer, police officer, it does not matter. Dad is the title. And that's who imparts the wisdom. That's who gives it to us. And we're fortunate enough to have that. But, life lessons for me, look, my babysitter was my father's gym when he was coaching basketball, or his field when he was coaching football. I went to my first football game when I was 2 weeks old. It was a Thanksgiving Day game when my dad was coaching it at Elizabeth and Douglas High School in Elizabeth, Tennessee, back when we still had segregation. And they would play on Thanksgiving Day against their biggest rival. That was my first game. But the life lessons, they come through all the time, prepare for every eventuality. Okay. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Hey, you can be replaced even if you're winning, but that doesn't mean that you lost. I mean, I can go on and on with all these sayings and different things, but the bottom line is I got to see my dad every day get up and go to work. I got to see my dad every day prepare to go to work. It would be midnight and he's doing his lesson plan as a teacher to make sure that's ready to go. And then when he branched into other things, when he started learning to sell insurance and taxes, he was doing double duty as well as the coaching. So I saw a man who never shied away from hard work. So every time I'm the one going, oh my God, I'm so tired of this and that. I better just let that go, because I watched that. And yes, he gave me all the lessons with words, but the actions that I got to see every day, that's what I think helped shape me more than anything else. That's where I give my ultimate thanks to my father, because he never turned down any hard work to make sure his family was taken care of.
That's amazing, Charles. That's amazing. And lastly, for our viewers and our listeners that have never been to a Black College Football Hall of Fame Classic, what can they expect when they come here on the campus of the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Well, number one, a whole lot of goodwill. I mean, anyone who's out there tailgating or what have you, guaranteed they'll share their food with you. Okay. You're going to have a lot of good natured back and forth trash talking. Okay. Because these are two of the preeminent programs in Black college football history. And these two schools have a ton of pride, but they all are linked together. I played in the SEC. So whenever you hear, bowl game scores everywhere else, if an SEC team's winning, if an SEC team is playing where that's announced, you hear the crowd chant SEC. SEC. Well, it's the same thing with HBCUs. When they get together, they're going to throw down, but don't let anybody else, don't let a third party enter into it, because then guess what? Now you can deal with two of them, and then everyone else about, because the pride is all there in who they are as institutions, as people, as a culture. Obviously, the bands are going to get after it. Okay, don't even worry about dropping the flag at halftime for how long. Just let them go, and we'll get back to it after that. So the bands are going to do their thing, but it's going to be good competitive football. We're going to have extra excitement because we have programs trying to get off the deck a little bit, but programs that we know can. And boy, I can't wait to watch it. Eddie George and the Blue Tigers of Tennessee State, the Grambling State Tigers with Broderick Fobbs. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Andrew, Steve, myself, and the rest of the NFL Network crew, we are fired up. If you come to the game, enjoy the excitement, enjoy the fireworks, and enjoy the camaraderie.
With that being said, guys, we thank you so much for joining us right here on The Mission.